Facebook is getting in on the same game YouTube is currently thriving at, which is censorship. Facebook to ban advertising for pages sharing fake news articles. Okay. In a statement released on their site on Monday, Facebook took a strong stance against the spread of fake news on the social platform. According to the press release, Facebook will begin barring pages that repeatedly share stories marked as false by third-party fact-checking organizations from advertising on the platform. False news is harmful to our community, the statement reads. It makes the world less informed and erodes trust. To curb the spread of fake news, Facebook intends to disrupt economic incentives to create false news, along with creating products that counters its spread and helping inform users on media literacy. Okay, so, I dislike this for many reasons. First of all, how smug is that? We're going to help inform users on media literacy. In other words, us over here at Facebook, we are in authority on what's real and what's fake, so we're going to help inform you on media literacy. Now, I'm not saying most people have it figured out on what's real and fake when it comes to news, but neither does fucking Facebook. And, like, okay, Mark Zuckerberg is thinking about running for president. What, you think Mark Zuckerberg on his site is going to allow really critical news articles about him? See, this is the problem. Who's going to watch the Watchmen? Like, oh, we got to stop the spread of fake news, but who's deciding what's fake and what's not fake? Now, again, that doesn't mean that there aren't stories that aren't objectively true or false, but it just means, who do you fucking trust to be the person who makes that decision? I certainly don't trust Facebook. I don't trust their third-party fact-checkers, because I've seen many things that fact-checkers have incorrectly assessed. It's happened repeatedly. It's not like, oh, it happened, you know. I guess most of the time they're probably right, but there's a solid 20% of the time or 30% of the time where it's up in the air as to how accurate they are and how they, like PolitiFact, for example, likes to have this fucking shitty middle ground where they say something's, oh, half true or, you know, mostly false, and then they, like their reasoning, you could disagree with their reasoning and or the conclusion they came to. So it's not like you have a monopoly on truth, Facebook, but they act like, please. And then also, like the idea we're not going to allow advertisements for the ones that we think are fake news. But what if the fucking company says, no, I want to advertise on the people who you're calling fake news? What then? We're not going to allow you. Well, what the fuck? What the fuck? The company has every right to say, I want to advertise with them. But Facebook's going to say, no, we disagree with you making your own free decision. And then, guys, I mean, let's be serious here. This is, like, for example, when Iraq was happening, you do know that everybody across the board in the respectable establishment press said, yes, Saddam has weapons of mass destruction. Saddam is linked to 9/11. If all of the so-called respectable outlets said that, and they did, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, you name them, everybody said that, and then somebody posts a link on Facebook way back then, let's say. I don't know if Facebook was around then, but just hypothetical here. Facebook, if they had this system in place, would pull down the article. No, we're not going to let you run the article that says Saddam doesn't have weapons of mass destruction and isn't linked to 9/11, because that's fake news. But that's not correct. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like, oh, isn't Alex Jones wonderful when he spreads legitimate fake news all of the fucking time? No, that's not what I'm saying. And those guys are odious to public discourse. But we either have a system where you let all the information out there and let people choose for themselves, or you have people regulate the news. But when you have people regulate it, you're always going to get a biased version. You're always going to get their version of events, because it's not like whoever's making the decisions here are objective. The people who make the decisions have their own biases, have their own problems, have their own slants. So either you allow everything out there, and yes, you allow the monetization of it and let people choose for themselves. That's called freedom. Or you have regulators who will get shit wrong, and you can incorrectly crack down on many true stories and outlets that are giving the truth, but you just think it's fake. Again, guys, think about with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. All the things we know as a matter of fact happened behind the scenes, had the DNC tip the scales against Bernie Sanders. Let me ask you, you think Facebook, in that circumstance, is going to say, if they had this system set up, of course, let all the news get out there about how Bernie, they tipped the scales against Bernie. They're not going to do that. They're going to say all of it, oh, it's fake news. It's fake news to say that they tried to hide the debates, but that's not fake news. The WikiLeaks. You think they're going to allow the running of WikiLeaks? The WikiLeaks are accurate. They're true. But in the wake of it, what was the establishment smear to try to get people to not cover them? Oh, there's fakes. There's fakes mixed in with them. And so what did they do? Oh, don't cover it. Don't cover it. That's what the establishment press did. What do you think Facebook's going to do? They're going to allow with the running of the factual WikiLeaks information? No, they're going to crack down on it and then go, we stopped it because it's fake news. So you can't trust them. You can't fucking trust them. And then also, independent outlets like me get left behind in situations like this because I'm not respectable. I'm not establishment. So I would hold up my record of telling the truth and giving real information against anybody. But when you have asshole establishment idiots making the decision as to what's allowed and what's not allowed, well, I don't know, he curses a lot and sometimes he's too anti-establishment and I don't know, let's fucking demonetize him, ban him. We already know that's the case because YouTube temporarily put me on a block list. You guys got me off of it because you raised fucking holy hell as a result of it. But then now we're in a permanent lower rung of monetization where we get shitty ads and oftentimes the topics we cover have, you know, a broad crackdown on them, which is why you always see those funky little, you know, symbols over the letters I put in there because I'm trying to skirt the demonetization algorithm and whatnot. So for somebody like me, we're already feeling the pressure because YouTube is trying to demonetize us as much as possible. And then with this Facebook thing, you think there's not going to be innocent parties like myself and others like me, Jimmy Dore, Humanist Report, David Pakman Show, who aren't roadkill, who aren't collateral damage. Yes, we are going to be caught up in this, and we are going to be collateral damage. But that's the point. Is it really all that much collateral damage? No, it might be the point to lump in people like me with guys like Alex Jones and whatever. So this is horrible, and we should all be against it. Is what you want on your Facebook feed the only things that are allowed to be fucking CNN and outlets like it? No. No, right? So we gotta oppose this, man. Who's gonna watch The Watchmen? Who's gonna watch The Watchmen? That's the question. And remember, we're hurting. All the other outlets I just named, the YouTube outlets, are hurting. If you like them, this is where Patreon's such a lifesaver, man. For us, it's patreon.com/seculartalk. If you give $2 a month, that means the world. Because we now, the overwhelming majority of our funding comes from you in grassroots funding through Patreon. That's the way that we make this work, because there's no way that we're going to rely on YouTube to be a system like it was, where it was more of a meritocracy, more of, hey, the more views you get, the more money you make. Now, that system is dead and gone. That system has collapsed. And, you know, people like myself and David Pakman, Jimmy Dore, Humanist Report, and the rest of us, we're the ones who got really screwed as a result of it. So since that's the model that doesn't work anymore, now's where Patreon's so important. So if you like them, if you like this show, consider just a tiny monthly donation, because that's what keeps us going. And I don't think people realize just how much that helps us. Because with stories like this and the direction that we're moving in here when it comes to free speech, free expression, and freedom of the press, this is censorship by another name. And it ain't coming directly from the government, it's coming from the corporate overlords, and we have to fight back against it.